Welcome to Insight Builder channel, Python experts and my dear friends. Django explained, introducing views in Django. What views do? Views deliver the data to the front end. How views do it? Views contains functions that query the backend database and returns the data as context. The models from the models.py is imported into the views. We'll be seeing the examples how it is being done in a couple of minutes. So stay tuned for that. Can views deliver Python objects? Yes, views can actually deliver Python objects. We'll be seeing the example how the views do it in one of the small website that has been built. I'll be showing you how the data is getting delivered, and also I'll be introducing how the Python objects are linked with the Django template language. So how these functions are triggered? The functions are triggered with the help of URLs that is inside the urls.py. If you guys have directly landed on this video, I would suggest to take a look at the URLs introduction of urls.py video also. Do views control the content that is viewed? Actually, no. Views don't control what the data is getting viewed. It is controlled by the URLs itself, and how the user is registered or whether the user is signed up, and all these things are controlled from the accounts and the administration part of it that is linked with the URLs again. In order to create the views, there are inbuilt classes and functions. For working with the views, there are four major classes or functions that you need to be aware. That is render, redirect, messages, and JSON response. The render function helps to render the HTML page, as well as it helps to render the pages with Django template language. The render also takes in the context which contains the data as name value pairs, and it passes to the HTML page with Django template language. This is one of the important aspects of Django framework. Let me show you an example. Let me go to the browser. This particular page has got an header, it has got a body made of multiple lists, and it has got a footer. This entire body has been created with the help of Django template language. I will show you the data of how these lists have been populated in a moment. Here we see the views, and in the views there are multiple Python lists. So these Python lists are used for populating the lists in the website that you saw a moment ago. You can see all the names here, and also the way it is getting populated is by using this index. The home page, let me go to the urls.py. The home page, you see this particular home page, the name is home. So this particular page is linked with the index function. With the index, the data is moved to the front end, and from the using the DTL tags and the blocks, the page is developed. Let us go to the views for a moment. So you can see the context that has been created, the context variable. The context variable has the names and the values. The names are the references which will be used by the Django template language in the front end. I'll be showing you the page in a moment, but take a look at the lists, the visit places, do underscore things, famous underscore people, and tails. So these are the various variable names and their respective values. When these names are called in the Django template language, the values are referred automatically. But you might be still wondering, how does the views send this context data or the data inside this key value pair to the front end? The answer is it uses this render request parameter, the HTML page with the Django template language already inbuilt into that, and this context variable. So this is how the data is passed to the front end. Let me open the one of the example templates for your reference. Let me go into project, let me go into templates, and we are going to open the single project.html. This is the HTML page. You see that it's a 20-line HTML document which is creating this particular browser, this particular page. So how is a 20 line HTML document creating a web page which is more than 20 lines? That's because we are using the loops here. So if you take a look at this particular file, you can see the lists. This is the variable that this is the name of the name inside the dictionary that we passed as context. So you see this is the lists, and then we have other names like visit underscore places, do underscore things, famous underscore people. So these are all various lists that we actually passed it from the views to the front end. And then we have the for loop that is running, that is enumerating the sublist. And then we have the Django variables here with double curly braces, which is placing the titles, or which is placing the text data onto the web page. And there is a overall for loop that enumerates all the four lists. So how do I know that there are four lists? So if you see here, so this is the main first list, the topmost list, and these are the four sublists. So let me go to the browser right now, and you can see that we have the topmost list, that is the heading, and inside the headings we have four data points, that is this one set of data points, second, third, and the fourth set. This is how we can actually render the page, HTML page, and the same way this entire page is also rendered using DTL and the corresponding views. The way this particular page is also rendered is through context data. So whenever I click this particular link or this particular link, the front end sends a request package to the backend. To understand more about the request object, take a look at this print statement. This is a request pack, and I am printing request.get. In order to see how the output looks, let us go to the browser. On the browser, in the address bar, we have created something called as question mark and test. So this is how you inform to the backend that a kind of a request is coming through the get request. Let us execute this, and you see that the page doesn't change. The reason is we have not attached any kind of a modification once such a get request has been created. However, the server will still see this value. So let us go to the server in the CLI. And if you go to the server, you see that here we can see there is a query dictionary that has been received, and the query dictionary has the name as test, and there is no any value for the test. Let us go back to the browser again, and this time what we are going to do is we are going to say test equal to fine. And now if you go back to the CLI and check the server, you see that we have received a value called fine for the test dictionary. So this is about how to work with request object. And I believe that you understood a thing or two about views from views in Django framework. Subscribe to my channel for further updates on Django as well as various other Python ecosystem libraries. With that said, I would like to leave with four words, that is practice, 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 practice. See you guys. Have a great time.